I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. Peace like a river. One more time. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, welcome to First Universalist Church. My name is Reverend Jen Crow. I'm one of the ministers here. I use she, her pronouns, and I am so excited to be here this morning. I've been bouncing since I woke up. It's such a pleasure to be together and to be leading worship this morning with Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, with Kathy Coskren and Joanne Patterson, Marion Dane Bauer, and Janet Merrill. Yes. We are grateful for all the hands and hearts and spirits that make this time possible. Grateful for John and Olu making our technology and sound work, our ushers and greeters and artists and everyone who cares for this space and makes it beautiful and welcoming. Thank you to each of you who are here in person or joining us online or joining us at a later date. Us showing up together is what makes this community happen. Beloved, community is something that we can experience together. Moving and breathing together, celebrating and creating together nourishes us. It's here that we inherit and create, sustain, and pass on the universalist spirit of love and hope, now and for the times we will never see. So welcome to this spiritual community of individual and collective transformation. Today, our hour together will take us on several journeys of learning and transformation. Over the course of the last year, I've had the privilege and pleasure of facilitating a small group of people who are 80 years old and older as we explore aging and spirituality together. Today, you'll get to hear from several of those group members. And please know this group is opening up again in the fall, and everyone is welcome. Everyone 80 and over. Sorry. I mean, though I gotta say, if you could listen in, you would want to, because it's so rich. I hope if you are 80 and up, you'll consider joining us. I want to say it's no exaggeration that being with this group has been a highlight in my year. The wisdom and humility and depth and eagerness to explore has inspired me over and over again. And I'll say the unexpected humor and the similarities in the struggles across the lifespan also has been inspiring and disarming for me, honestly. For instance, let's take a look at a cartoon that one of our group members brought. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced something like this, but when this image was brought by group member Gail Price, we all laughed at the familiarity of this, right? And then she went on to share this. One of the most important things I've learned in my lifetime is that people generally cause their own problems and then struggle to get out of what they have created without realizing they have. I love the way this cartoon illustrates that. The Buddhist saying and hope that goes with this, she tells us, could be, may we be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Let's take a moment to center ourselves in this hope. I invite you to ground yourself however you do and to breathe together. Breathing in, let us hear again those words. May we be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Breathing out, let us expand that hope to all beings and all life. Let's join in 3 meaningful breaths together. From this place of shared breath and centering, we remind ourselves of our commitment to this community of love and its people. I invite Janet to come forward and light our chalice as we say the chalice lighting words together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Kathy Coskren. I've been a member of this congregation for 45 years. My reading is the last stanza of Maya Angelou's poem on aging. When you see me walking, stumbling, don't study and get it wrong, 'cause tired don't mean lazy, and every goodbye ain't gone. I'm the same person I was back then, a little less hair, a little less chin, a lot less lungs, and much less wind, but ain't I lucky I can still breathe in. You know, one of the oldest bits of advice on how to live your life is know thyself, which is inscribed on the temple of Apollo in Delphi, Greece. Know yourself, know thyself, is an all-encompassing piece of advice that includes, in my mind, love yourself, forgive yourself, and be both amazed and grateful that you are you, with all your challenges, imperfections, and gifts. For the past several years, I've been saying that I am delighted to be old, because if you were born the year I was born, 1943, you are either old or dead. And I really prefer old. And I know my many privileges and blessings make it easier to say that. I was raised in a stable family, comfortable financially, but without the burden or responsibility of wealth. I was the first person on both sides of my family to go to college. I'm gratefully in a 56-year marriage partnership. I have wonderful children. I have 9 perfect grandchildren. Even though when I say that, my daughter says, "Mom, they are not perfect," but she's wrong. I have just described what it's like to be privileged and incredibly lucky, because luck, chance, happenstance have a role in all of our lives. I've also heard that wisdom comes with age, but I don't really buy that. Experience, yes, of course. There are things I would never do again, things I will never have to do again, things I would never tell anyone that I did, and things I've learned, and certainly quite a lot I still want to do. But wisdom, I'm not so sure about that. Probably not in my playbook. But amazement and delight have shown up again and again. From the miraculous birth of my children, the even more amazing arrival of those perfect grandchildren, and technologies that no futurist ever predicted. In 1960, did we think we'd be taking pictures with that black thing that hung on the wall, the telephone? No. Or have a Zoom meeting? Zoom must mean something really, really fast, or something we zoom through, a verb, not a noun, and certainly not an adjective. And of course, these technological developments have people my age asking for help from people a generation or 2 generations younger. They are the wise ones. So, as Mary Oliver wrote in When Death Comes, "When it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world." Exactly. That's what I've learned. That's what I want. And being old doesn't mean nearly dead. Several years ago, I was a tutor at an elementary school in North Minneapolis, and the 4th grader I was working with asked me how old I was. When I told him, 60-something at the time, when I told him, he gasped, "You're going to die." And I withheld my instinct to say, "Well, so are you." I didn't say it, but by the time you're 80, you know you're getting close. And I find myself increasingly curious about what it's going to be like. I'm in no hurry, and I know avoiding pain, which would be my choice, may not be possible, but I do want to know. I want to consciously experience those last moments. I want to take Mary Oliver's advice and not end up simply having visited this world. I want all the experiences, even the final one. Well, one more thing. At 80, I am taken aback when somebody calls me young lady. It's an instinct born in kindness, I know, trying to shield me from the tragedy, or maybe the embarrassment of being so darn old. But I'm not sad. I'm not embarrassed to be old. Well, I would love to have a wrinkle-free neck and a flat stomach, but that's not going to happen, to be able to stand up straighter. But I am really, really glad to be here. Because, as Maya Angelou said, ain't I lucky that I can still breathe in? Well, one more thing that I've learned, one more bit of advice: read poetry to better know thyself. Thank you.
Let's sing together For All That Is Our Life.
For all life is a
Let's go to 128 in your hymnal, because the words aren't right up there. And I see you. I see you trying. Let's try again from the beginning. 128 hymnal.
128, 128. We'll make it through together.
We did it. Oh, let's take this time to settle in again, to reground in those 3 meaningful breaths, to remember that in the gift of life, in the gift of breathing together, we come into a shared rhythm. This breath always accessible for us as long as we are alive. This breath, this shared journey with those with us here, with those who have been with us, with those still to come. Let us breathe. Here in this place, here in this moment, whenever and wherever that is for us. Here together, stretched across time and space. Here, let us know and rest for a moment in the sure knowledge that we are loved. Each and every one of us, each in our own beautiful particularity, each and every one of us here and there and everywhere, loved, whole and holy and worthy. This love we know, This Universalist spirit of love and hope, may it animate us and help us to hold all that is. All of the pain and suffering, the hope and celebration, the possibility, the joy, the illness, the loss. This love is big enough to hold all of it and all of us. In this time of prayer and meditation, we open our hearts and we open this space for each of us to share or to hold quietly what is in our heart. You are invited to type into the chat or to speak out loud if that feels right, what you are hoping this community can hold with you. And we will respond with "You are not alone. We are holding it together." This time of prayer is open. Gratitude for our elders who are so brave to be up here today. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For my mom, who is navigating the complicated feelings of a successful mastectomy and the 9-year anniversary of her daughter's death, the same week as her 81st birthday.
For Dallas's mother, navigating complicated feelings after surgery, anniversaries, and a big birthday. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For all those that lost their jobs at Rainbow Health, and for all the people who will not now have to find new mental health therapists because of its sudden and unreasonable effects.
For all those who've lost their jobs at Rainbow Health, for all those now seeking new mental health therapists and care, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For Carolyn's soul and spirit, you are not alone. We are holding it together.
I'm happy to be back here. The last time I was here was for my mom's memorial service 3 years ago. Her name is Jean Stanislow.
Joy for being back here, first time back after your mother's memorial service, Jean Stanislow. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For my mom who's in the hospital with COVID, and her wife who has COVID and is isolating at home.
For your mother who's in the hospital with COVID, for her wife that is isolating with COVID. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For the joy of partnership with my siblings, that my sister that we were 99% sure was going to be homeless has a roof over her head and a stable.
Oh.
Just moved.
Joy for partnership with your siblings in bringing your sister to a safe place. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For our artist in residence, Amy Bryant, who is doing well but recovering from COVID, and tells me that she is more bored than any other feeling in quarantine. May she not be alone.
For our artist in residence, Amy K. Bryant, who is recovering from COVID and so bored. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
We bring greetings from Union Church in Manchester, New Hampshire, and we are about to begin to seriously engage
Greetings from our sibling congregation in Manchester, New Hampshire, and for their dedication to join in with the work of our shared values of love at the center. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For my niece Mila, who is 4 years old and fell off the monkey bars last night, resulting in her first major surgery. No pulse in her arm. So for healing and rest for her parents.
Oh. For healing and rest for Neela, your 4-year-old niece, and for her parents, their parents. You are not alone. We are holding it together. To all that has been shared, to all that is in our hearts, we add our prayers for all those who are suffering the impact of violence and war, for the friends and family of beloved mother, friend, daughter, and young Black woman Sonia Massey. Sonia, who should be alive today, called the police for help and was killed by the responding officer. In a land in all lands where each of us deserve dignity and care and freedom from fear, we are reminded again that this is so often not the reality for Black Americans. On this National Day of Mourning for Sonia Massey, we are all invited to join a rally today at 1 at the Hennepin County Government Center to help make the promises of justice and equality and freedom real for all of us. Our hearts are with Mary Novak today and her entire family. Mary's father, David Novak, died unexpectedly just a few days ago during heart surgery. And she and her mother, Diane, and brother Mike, and her wife, Lisa, and children, Amelia and Eliza, are all reeling from the loss and shock. May they be held in love now and in all the days to come. We hold in our hearts Dorothy Sylvester, who died at the age of 97 and whose life we celebrated here yesterday. Dorothy was the 1,000th member to join our church. And we are so grateful for everyone, all of the volunteers who helped to care for her family yesterday and through the years. Together, we pray that the weight of oppression might be lightened, that the grip of addiction might be loosened, that grief might be shared and joy might break through, and that love might make every suffering bearable for us all. May it be so. Amen.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Joanne Patterson, and I was fortunate to find First Universalist Church about 12 years ago. And I am so grateful to have this as my spiritual home. Since I retired as a professor in public health at the university, and being aware of what so many of my friends and colleagues had achieved, I started to think, what would my legacy be? And then one day, I realized what I wanted my legacy to be. I want to be remembered as a kind person. Well, that was reinforced when I learned about the work of Barbara Fredrickson. She's a neuropsychologist who studies the physiological response to positive emotions. She emphasizes the importance of micro moments to enhance well-being. A micro moment is a brief encounter with another person that produces a mutual moment of positive connection, which she calls positivity resonance. Usually, it involves eye contact and a smile, and importantly, it is focused on the other person and their well-being. Well, as a social scientist, I was especially interested in her research about the effect of micro moments on the brain and the body. Positivity resonance increases oxytocin, which you may know as the love hormone. It increases that in both persons, which improves emotional well-being. It also affects brain synchrony in the insulin of the brain, where both persons have conscious feelings. And it improves vagal tone. The vagus nerve connects the brainstem to the heart and leads to higher vagal tone, which regulates other bodily functions like reduced inflammation and lower glucose levels. So, I set out practicing micro moments. I would say to my dog Joey, let's go for a walk and find micro moments. Sometimes it's as simple as a smile and a hello. Isn't this a great day for a walk? And a short conversation would ensue. Or recently, an older man was limping toward me, and as I looked at him kindly, he said to me, "My leg hurts a lot. I just had a stent put in." Oh, I expressed how hard that must be, and how sometimes it seems like the cure is even worse than the original problem. I listened intently as he continued, and then he turned to continue his walk and said to me, "Thank you." Many times these brief encounters lead to some profound conversations and connections. But even when brief, they can create positivity resonance between two people who are in sync with each other and having a sense of being noticed and cared about. In her book, Love 2.0, Barbara says this is the essence of love, these mutual connections that promote positivity resonance. And isn't that how we show love here with each other at First Universalist? I have taken to heart these micro moments, and it's now become a spiritual practice for me. And I have been truly amazed by how upbeat and positive I feel as a result of these moments of kindness. And now I would like to share with you a poem by Naomi Shihab Nye, Kindness. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness and the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend.
Good morning. Oh, here's the old lady voice in play already. I'm Marion Bauer, and I've been a passenger on this planet for more than 85 years. So what have I learned during all those revolutions of the sun? Well, I've learned finally to be content with this person I am, with all my foibles, with my many limitations. I'm even learning to accept this old body as it grows less reliable, less vigorous, less attractive too, and far less interested in attracting. I've heard others in our group say it as well. We like who we are. So that's something those of you coming up after us have to look forward to. It gets easier to accept yourself, to love yourself as the years roll by. That seems a good place to start, but obviously it's only a start. There's the whole business of learning to love the rest of you out there too. I came to First Universalist many years ago looking for folks like me. To be more precise, I came looking for other lesbians. Oh, I'm getting some hands. My partner of 20 years had moved out, and I was living in an outer ring suburb, deeply isolated. If there were other lesbians out there, I never found one. Coming here, I discovered something surprising. That being a lesbian is so unremarkable a thing, I no longer had to think about my sexuality at all. And while I was not thinking about my sexuality, I found what I'd really come for, a community. Other people who see the world pretty much the way I do. Not only religion and spirituality, social justice and politics too. And surrounded as I am at First Universalist by like thinkers, it's been easy to find people to love. But there's still that world out there. And there's an ever-widening divide between those who think like we do and those who don't. That divide is religious, social, political, all of it at once. And there's so very many on the other side. We talk about love here every Sunday, but how do we love those we disagree with so profoundly? That's something I've been working really hard to learn. I've been forced to learn, actually, because I have the complicated good fortune of having people deeply embedded in my life who stand firmly on the other side of that divide. They don't accept vaccines, any vaccines, including the one that just brought us out of the pandemic. They think this climate chaos we're enduring is a hoax. They truly believe the presidential candidate who most terrifies me will bring us peace. And the divide keeps growing wider. So I've had no choice but to learn some new things about love. I'll offer just one story. I was 47 years old before I understood and accepted my sexuality. When I did finally, I set out one by one to share this profound change in my life with people I loved. Some received the news well, and some did not. One who did not was a beloved cousin, Christy. I discovered that she lived in a political, social world where gay was not, could not be acceptable. Inevitably, it seemed, she and I drifted apart. Quietly, no sharp words or hard feelings, just a little attempt on either side to stay in touch. And we only found our way back to one another several years ago when Christy was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Pretty certain what was coming next, I reached out and she received me. Christy lived in Colorado. I am here. But we started seeing one another every few months. We even talked about our very different political convictions that had, in the years since our first quiet estrangement, grown even farther apart. I found the conversations challenging. How could my thoughtful, intelligent cousin be so wrong? Finally, it occurred to me to ask a question, a very simple one. Why? Why did she believe what she did? Where did her political beliefs come from? And here's what I learned. As a young social work student, Christy was sent to work in the Chicago projects. Those projects were a long ago government experiment. Homes classified as slums had been torn down, neighborhoods destroyed, and the displaced people rehoused in what one described as concrete sewers. A well-intended solution turned into a far worse problem. Christy never lost the empathy that had drawn her to her career, but she also never again believed in our government's ability to solve social problems. Her political convictions didn't come only out of that one experience, of course, but that one was foundational. For the first time, I understood, one piece at least. Her convictions didn't come out of misinformation, as I had assumed, but out of experience and integrity. Only then did it occur to me to ask the same question of myself, also for the first time. Why? I asked myself. Why do I believe what I do? The answer came back instantly. My father. An answer that astonished me. My father, you see, was a brilliant, difficult, deeply disappointed man. His disappointment came through in statements so often repeated as to become mantras. Life is a dirty deal. People are basically dishonest. The reason they call it work is because you don't like doing it. If you like doing it, no one would pay you. Even as a young child, I rejected his view of the world. I knew I was never going to think like, be like my father. But he had come out of the Great Depression with such politically liberal convictions that in the 1950s, people thought him a communist. When I asked myself where my ideas about government and politics had come from, I couldn't escape the truth. While I had rejected so much else, my father's politics had lodged in my bones. Turning to consider my cousin again, I even saw that my convictions were no more rational than hers. In fact, they were more emotionally based. Christy's political beliefs at least rose out of her own hard experience. Mine had merely been handed down. I had one last conversation with Christy shortly before she died, and guess what? Politics didn't come into it at all. We spoke only of our love and respect for one another. So this is what I've learned. How do we love one another across the great divide that separates our country, our world? By trying to understand those others and ourselves. I've also learned to ask that why in a larger context. For instance, why are so many in this country drawn to a candidate who says, "I am your retribution"? How is our system failing these people that they need such a thing? And then I turn back to ask the question of myself, what privileges have I been given that retribution doesn't speak to me? Iris Murdoch once said, "Love is the extremely difficult realization that something other than oneself is real." If I have any old lady wisdom to offer today, it's just that other people are indeed real, even when they don't think like me, like us. Now, to go on learning for whatever more time I'm given.
Right? My heart is already overflowing in this rhythm we are in together of giving and receiving and growing. It is in community that we are able to have all of our needs met. A place where when we share what we have, everyone can have what they need. We are approaching the time of our offering, a sharing of resources back and forth. This is a time where I remind you that if you are in need of financial support or spiritual or emotional support, please reach out to one of the ministers. We are here to help. This community is here to support one another, and we take turns in this. We will also, in just a moment, receive our financial offering, an opportunity for all of you to share your financial resources if you're in a position to do so. And this morning's offering is a really special one. Many of you know that we are a sanctuary congregation. What that means is that we house people in our building and support them when they are immigrants to this country, when they are seeking a place of refuge, of sanctuary, a place where they can be safe as they begin to feel some stability and some ground and some care beneath and around them. For over a year, we have had the privilege of having a family with us here in Sanctuary. Diabelis and Gustavo and Mateo and Elijah have been here, and in this time, they have been able to stabilize in their legal status, in their ability to work, in access to health care, in access to education. Our tenant and partner in this, Grace Neighborhood Nursery School, has offered free nursery school for the aged children for both this family and the previous family we had with us. Your gifts through our Sanctuary and Resistance Fund have helped to support them in legal fees, in food, in education, in all kinds of areas, healthcare. So today we are helping them prepare to launch. They have rented a home. They are moving out August 1st. And I am going to invite your gifts to our Sanctuary and Resistance Fund so that we can offer them a launch fund, a gift of financial stability to help them as they start off in this next phase of their life. So gratitude too. Not only do we offer our financial gifts, but we offer our gratitude. I want to say to our apartment support team led by Jean Guion, who's back there, with Sharon Mandel, with Courtney LeClaire, myself, and each of you who have helped to make the support of this family possible. I go all the way back to those of you who envisioned and donated to our capital campaign, who allowed us to build a dedicated living space for families in need. So today you are invited to make a financial gift if you are able, but also down in the social hall, or if you're joining us online, you can write your notes in the chat. There's a table downstairs in the social hall for you to write blessings, hopes, wishes for the family, and we will deliver that to them along with their launch gift. So our offering will now be gratefully received.
We are like children, we're painted on canvases, picking up shades as we go. We start off with gesso, pressed on by people we know. Watch your technique as you go. Step back and admire my view. Can I use the colors I choose? Do I have some say in what you use? Can I get some greens and some blues? We're made by the pigment of paint that is put upon. Our stories are told by the hues. Like Motley and Bearden, these masters of peace and life, layers of colors and time. Step back and admire my view. Can I use the colors I choose? Do I have some say in what you use? Can I get some greens and some blues? Step back and admire my view. Can I use the colors I choose? Do I have some say in what you use? Can I get some greens with my blues? We're just like children. Admire my view. Admire my view.
This is called The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond, and that's by Rumi. I am Janet Merrill, a part of a group of people over 80 years old. We've been meeting with Reverend Jen, exploring what does it mean to be old. Pema Chodron the Buddhist monk writes, "Life is like stepping into a boat that is about to sail out to sea and sink." We are pleased when someone says, "You don't look 75. I thought you were maybe 65." We unconsciously think, "I'm not getting old." We are attached to our sense of staying young, and our generation has been lulled by an extended midlife. We start new careers, we have children later, we stay healthy and fit with modern medicine and exercise. We are attached to our young, energetic, youthful bodies. We are attached to our image of being capable, good at our jobs. We are attached to having loved ones with us forever. But a time comes when we realize that we have less time to look forward and the future is shorter. There comes a time that we realize we will not be here except in the memories of those left behind. We suddenly see our impermanence. We need to give up attachment to how we want things to be and see things as they are. But getting older does not make our losses easier. One of the things our over 80 group has been doing is sharing how we might use this time wisely. This is new territory, and it helps to see how others are traversing it. The Buddhists say it is a time of awakening in love and wisdom as we confront decline, illness, and loss. It's a time to discover what we value, to cherish time with loved ones. One of our members, Nancy Jones, just moved across the country to Brooklyn, New York, to live close to her son and her family. She's letting go of attachments with dear friends in Minneapolis and here at First Universalist. It was hard, but she's embracing a new life and finding joy in the things she will have there. She discovered a Unitarian minister who's retired and living 2 houses away. Aging can offer us time to reorient ourselves toward a life of spirituality. Some are discovering meditation as a way to access inner life. We can see each day as a gift to look for things to celebrate. Plato said, "When physical eyesight declines, spiritual eyesight increases." And I would like to end with a quote from Pema Chodron again, talking about impermanence. She quotes, "What if we accepted it and relaxed into it? Yes, this is the way it is. This is what it means to be human."
I bet you can see why this was a highlight of my weeks this year, gathering with this crew. And I want to just give a shout out to Nancy Jones. We can give her a wave. I'm sure she's with us on Zoom. And Dick Young, who's here, was part of the group. And I see Gail Price back there. Am I missing anybody who's here?
I'm here.
You're here? Yes! May you join our 80-plus group one day. That would be amazing. This was such a wonderful experience over the course of this year, and I heard so many things that have stuck with me, but I wanted to share just one small last story. This one comes from Gail. And of course, this is my memory of what she said or how it lodged in me, which we know is always different than what people actually say sometimes. But what I remember is Gail reflecting on one of our meetings about being in a transitional care unit after surgery and recovering, and making her way through the hallways and seeing people there in different levels of health and different levels of consciousness, really. Folks in the hallways who seemed present or not present, folks alone in their rooms who seemed present or not present, and noticing some sense of maybe fear or dread in herself, and again, my words, and not wanting that to be her experience, and being the wise, retired psychoanalyst that she is, she explored her feelings and thoughts, and came out with something like this. What if one of the primary spiritual tasks of aging, and in particular of preparing for death, is letting go of this physical body of ours, this individual self with all of its particularities, and moving into that larger spiritual whole, moving from the particular to the universal. And being in various stages of consciousness is just part of that transition that we make from the particular to the universal. Not something to avoid or to be feared or dreaded, but something that is a natural part of our life and our spiritual journey. This wisdom is lodged in me now. It's something I'm able to share with others as they approach death. This idea that we are each moving from the particular to the universal, that there is actually relief in that. Gail went on to say this actual thing. My main task at this age involves living life thoroughly and joyfully while preparing for death. To do so, I'm trying to change my identity from ego body identity to spiritual identity. Specifically, that involves reading about the ways quantum physics supports the idea of consciousness being the creator of everything in the universe, and also involves her wish to become a bodhisattva. What if all my molecules floated around the universe after I die and spread healing and compassion? I'd be able to connect with millions and not run out of energy. Can my consciousness create that? For me, this idea to move from the particular to the universal, to spread healing and compassion without bound, I'm in. What a remarkable spiritual journey. Sing together again, just as long as I have breath. Did we already sing? Yeah.
Let's sing together.
As we prepare to end this particular time together and move out into the universal, I remind us that there's an opportunity to write blessings for our family that's been living in sanctuary with us down in the social hall, a chance to join in the the vote effort downstairs as well, a chance to connect with each other. May each of us continue as we are able to say yes to life, to grow in wisdom and in kindness and in care. May it be so. Amen.